Shalom. Let's see where the Spirit takes me, giving all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakodash. I don't know how long this is going to be. This video may be a couple of minutes or maybe longer. But someone asked me a question. Let me just bring it up. Zakaria 144 comment. It says here, I hope you can see it. Shalom Elder is disconcerting the resurrection in the last days. 2nd Esdras Chapter 4 verse 40. So what I'll do here, you can partially read it. So he answered and said to me, go thy way to a woman with child. Let me just go ahead and go to the, I said this in the past, right? I said, when you come across a precept, you got to read sometime to get the answer. You got to sometimes bring out keywords. You might go into the Hebrew. You might go into the Greek if it's in the New Testament. Or you may go a couple of verses above that or just read the whole chapter. So then you get the answer. And when I read the first part, because he didn't put in the whole verse, but I already knew what he was talking about. So let me just go to it. I'll start at the 37th verse. I'll start at the 36th verse. It says, you know what, before I do this, let me go up to the first verse, and then I'll come back down. It says, and the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, which means, it means Awar Allah, meaning light of the power or light of God, gave me an answer. So now you got to go to the 3rd chapter. Really, you got to read the whole 2nd Esdras from the 1st chapter to the last chapter. And then you really got to go to 1st Esdras from the 1st chapter to the last chapter. And then you understand things better. You shouldn't always have to come to us and ask us a question. If you search out the answer, sometimes you get it. And sometimes you say, yep, that's the answer. But let me confirm it with an elder or a bishop or and use it, bishops too. Start messing with them bishops. Start going on their pages. Deal with them, because they'll be willing to answer as well. Anyway, you always want to come to the highest authority, which are the apostles. And we don't say that in a bragging manner, but people get mad at us. You guys think you're the great apostles. You know how Jake is. but anyway, you could ask a lot of, you could have asked some of the elders of the various states. They would have gave you the answer. But anyway, you could, if you searched it out, you could have found the answer. You made it deeper than what it is. You asked about the 2nd Esdras, the 4th chapter, 40th verse. It's just talking about the resurrection. No, it has nothing to do with resurrection. It says, and the angel that was sent unto me, which was Ezra, whose name was Uriel, Awar Allah, gave me an answer and said, thy heart have gone too far in this world, and thinketh thou to comprehend the way of the Most High. So in in hood vernacular, you're trying to get too deep. You're trying to figure this out and figure that out. You're trying to be up there on the Most High's level. That's also in Isaiah. Matter of fact, let me go to that. I'm almost positive it's Isaiah 51. Let me blow the dust off that chapter, Isaiah 51, not 52, 51. And I'll tell you the verse in a minute. Give me a second. I hadn't gone through this in a while. Okay, so it's not here. Okay. Let me do it this way. Too high. Let's see if this comes up. Bear me for a minute. I'm almost positive it's in the book of Isaiah. Maybe I'm quoting it wrong. Oh my goodness. Let me do it this way. Let me try this. Can't believe I don't know it. Let's try it this way. I'll get it. Okay, it was Isaiah 55, verse 9. I was thinking Isaiah 51. I don't know why I thought that. But anyway, it says here, let me go a couple of verses above that. Eighth verse, Isaiah 55, verse 8. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahweh. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So Esau's not going to outsmart the Most High. So that's all I wanted. So now let's come back over here to 2nd Ezra 4. It says in the second verse, and the Lord sent an angel down to Ezra. It said, thy heart have gone too far in this world. You're trying to get too deep. You're trying to get like the Most High. You want to know what the Most High, what's in the Most High's mind. And you can't, because you're not built that way. And thinketh thou to comprehend, understand the way of the Most High. So let's go back over here one more time. I want to read this again. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Same language, same language. And said, thy heart have gone too far in this. And see, a lot of you guys try to get, you read a scripture that has one meaning. It just means something. Like, for example, Revelation 8 chapter, the first, was the first or second verse? It said there was space. There was a moment of silence. Matter of fact, let me go there so I can read it verbatim. When you understand the Bible, if you're in this truth, and well, I'm using GMS, of course, because we go into a lot of prophecies and we go into the scriptures, man. We do a lot of teaching. You know, if you follow GMS videos, you're gonna understand all the breakdowns of the scriptures because we go through it over and over again. So let's go to Revelation 8. Revelation 8. See, the Bible is not all that deep once the Most High opens your spirit. You know, it goes through whom shall he teach knowledge and whom shall he make to understand doctrine. The doctrine is a whole book. He said, them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be here a little, there a little. For precept must be upon precept, here a little, there a little. A line here, a line there. I'm paraphrasing. For which Samuel lips in another tongue, shall he speak to this people. So it says, them that are weaned from the milk, you got to start off by having a teacher. Like if you go back more than 10 years ago, you know, 12, 13 years ago, you had a lot of brothers in the different state camps. They used to come out to New York. Why did they come out to New York so much in the beginning? Because they wanted to hear it from our mouth. They want to, you know, ask us deeper questions. So they don't come out no more like they used to, because there ain't no need for them to come out no more. And there's no need for us to go out to them. Now, if a brother happens to be in New York because he has relatives or whatever the case may be, he's welcome. But there was a time, you know, when we had the first Passovers and the other states came in, I think it was 2014, there was about, I don't know, 100 extra brothers besides the normal brothers that came. I would say there's about 100, and they came by twos and threes, and they were from various different states. And we can't talk to all of them. So at the end of the Passover, when we were leaving, they came up and they shook our hands, hugged us, shalom, the whole nine, right? But they don't do that no more. Because why? Because they're teachers. They don't need us no more. It's just like a father and his son. The son grows up under the wing of his father or the tutelage of his father. And when he finds a woman and he raises a family, he don't keep, you know, if something emergency happens, of course he's gonna get in contact with his father or his parents. But when you move on, you kind of move on. You might say, oh, I want to move out to California. I want my parents to come out with me. No, I'm used to being in New York. You know, you lose contact with family people, you know? Anyway, I'm a little all over the place. But the same thing with this individual asked me this question. I don't know how many years he's been in this thing. I don't know how deep he is. But I saw the response, I saw the comment, the question, and I said, well, let me go answer it in the form of a video. No big deal. And some of y'all, a couple of times, I don't want to go out your way, but I have a question. Please forget. Let's just ask a question. Just ask a question. They say, look, I got a question. I'm not sure the answer. I kind of read through it. I read through the precepts, but I just want a confirmation on this. Ask it. If I don't get to it, a lot of times I don't get to the question because there's so many notifications. You got the notification of different videos, and then you got somebody asking comments. And sometimes I say I can't get to it. I'll get to it the next day. But then there's so many comments and questions on top of that, that you forget that 3 days ago, somebody asked you an important question. So you got to ask it more than once. If I don't answer it, you go to Apostle Gabar. If Apostle Gabar don't answer it, it's obvious he missed it. You go to Apostle, one of the apostles or the bishops, Rakar, Apostle Ramlab, any of the bishops, and then the elders, which are camp leaders of other states, because they know what we know now. And they've gone in the scriptures that we never taught them. That's in the scriptures as well. It says, and when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. So what does that mean? It means John was looking at the visions. It was like a holographic movie. It was more than 3D, it was holographic. Like if you ever watch the Star Trek, The New Generation, and they go into a room, and let's say Captain Picard wants to fight somebody with a sword, there'll be a hologramic image of an actual person with a sword. So he's fighting somebody with a sword to keep his reflex up or whatever. Or you can simulate a tennis game or whatever. So that goes beyond 3D. It's holographic, where when you turn around, it's there. When you turn this way, what do you call that? Those goggles that you use. What the hell do you call it? Virtual reality glasses. And I tried them on, and there was a dinosaur coming at me, and it actually looked like and when I looked to the left, you can see trees to the left, trees to the right. You look behind you, you see trees behind you, and you see a dinosaur coming at your ass. So that's what John the Apostle saw on the Isle of Patmos. He kept seeing all these different visions taking place, and he scribed them down. He wrote them down. So it says he wrote down, he's looking for visions, and there's nothing happening. So he's waiting around, waiting for the next vision. And the hour he notices that about a half an hour goes by, and then the visions open up again, because he's intrigued by these visions. And let me tell you something, John, all them visions that he got, he didn't understand none of them. We understand it now. It says, second verse, and I saw the seven angels which stood before the Most High, and to them were given seven trumpets. So the vision started coming back to him after a space of half an hour. Somebody else will make it deep. See, the half is the Most High's kingdom, and an hour, and it's 42 hours, 24 hours to a day, but the Most High's day, so it's 40. No, it only means what it says. Same thing with this scripture right here. Let me just go right to it. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she hath fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. So this is what Ezra said. Then said I, no, Lord. Lord meaning Adawanya. You got a landlord, you're in the military, you're a sergeant, speaking to a lieutenant. A general is a lord over lieutenant. Lieutenant is lord over the next rank. You got sergeant, you got corporal, you got privates. It says, then said I, no, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, in the grave, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman, right? The chambers, what's the chambers of souls? Houses for the body. When you die, your soul, your spirit leaves your body. And then it comes back as a newborn baby. So Let me read it again, 40th verse. So he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child that's pregnant, and ask her when she have fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. So he said, no. He said, because it's a natural occurrence that the baby, sometimes you have preemies, right? But in order for it to develop in the womb, it takes 9 months to develop. Then when it comes out, it like certain, like horses and deers, when they come out of their mother's womb, they already walking because they developed how to walk and do everything in the womb. A so-called human baby, when they come out, you got to hold them. They can't even crawl. Then they start crawling, and then they'll walk to get up. They'll take a step, then they'll go down, then they'll walk a little bit more. Than before you know it, they're walking, and then they pick up little words, mommy, daddy, grandma, grandpa, food, whatever. Anyway, that's all it means. I can say this. Instead of the angel asking him about the woman, he could say, if the rain comes down and you don't have an umbrella, are you going to get wet? And your answer would be, yes, I'm going to get wet. So this is not no deep thing that the angel asked him. He just used a common thing, a woman being pregnant. The woman can't say, no, I want the baby. I like the feeling. I want the baby to stay in my womb another 2 months. No, the baby's going to come out. The term of the water breaks. You got the labor pains, right? Okay, let me read the 41st and the 42nd verse. It said, I know, Lord, that can she not. And he said unto me, the angel, in the grave, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman, right? For like as a woman that travaileth, goes through her labor pains, maketh haste to escape. She don't want to be in them labor pains. The necessity of the travail is necessary to have that travail, because that goes back to Genesis 3. Even so do these places haste to deliver those things that are committed unto them. So when you die, your spirit goes back into the spirit realm. It has a spiritual body. Then that spiritual body, that tabernacle in the heavens, comes back into a woman through the act of sex, and your spirit goes into the womb and becomes a fetus, which means little one. All right. So this right here is not no deep thing. It has nothing to do with the resurrection. He was just throwing a question at him. He could have said, if you're driving a car and you don't put gas in your car, what's going to happen? Oh, the car is going to turn off. Can you make the car go without gas? No, you need gas. So a similar question, poor example, but same thing. Just talking about a woman. A woman that's pregnant, 9 months, she's going to have the kid. You have these teenagers, right? In the hood, they'll get pregnant, but they want to, like Latin tribes, because you got to get married in order to have children, right? So the woman, she gets with this other dude. She's 12, 13 years old. He might be 15 years old, and they do it. And her belly starts, sticking out, and she's trying to wear heavy clothes, coats, and all that. And then it comes a point where the baby's gonna come. She can't stop the baby. She can't hide it. So she can either tell somebody or go to the doctor, and they gotta tell the parents, oh, your daughter's 9 months, or she's in her 8th month. You got those, trimesters, whatever you call it, where you got the stages. She's in her 8th month, she's in her 7th month, and her body's, her womb, her stomach is sticking out. And then when the mother hears about it, she might beat her ass. It happened in the movie Claudine. I hope that's the name of the movie, Claudine, with James Earl Jones, and I forget the woman. But it's a great movie about the hood and about how the welfare system works. How anything that this guy got her, I'm kind of going off into a tangent, but when the Edomite lady came along, she had to hide all that new shit, because if she knew somebody was supporting her, a man was supporting her, they'd cut her welfare off. And that's how they used to do it back in the 60s. That's how they used to do it. They used to come and check on your ass to see it. They used to actually come, you older cats, you tell the story. Back in the 60s, man, I remember that. We had to get fucking food, that fucking canned food, that government fucking cheese that won't melt for shit. You can use a blowtorch and that motherfucker won't melt. And that fucking, but now they give you a card, you can go to, give you more dignity, right? Now they give you a card, it's a welfare card, but it looked like a regular credit card. All right. Anyway, let me get back into this. I'm sorry, I'm going off into something else. But anyway, it says, and an angel that was sent unto me, whose name was, the Hebrew word is Awar Allah, gave me an answer and said, thy heart have gone too far in this world, and thinkest thou to comprehend the ways of the Most High. Now a lot of Jake follow other Jakes with this extra, how can I say, extra science, this super deep knowledge. That's how Dr. York, I went to the guy's temple. I argued with him. I had to curse his ass out in his own temple on Myrtle Ave. I went there 2 times, man. Me and some other brothers. Well, Barack, the elder Barack from the HODC, he was with me on the second go round. It was me and some other brothers. Then eventually, the second time we came, it was myself. It was Ariala. I don't know if Barack came the second time, but High Priest Lahab came and High Priest Shaw came. And they were kind of nervous because there were so many people in there, and I was young. I didn't give a shit. My attitude was like, I'll fight all you motherfuckers, man. All right, in the name of the truth. So they were kind of low key. And I was the one that got up and started cursing this guy out. And I said, I was like so close to him that I could have touched him. I said, what did I say? I said, nigga, when the Lord come back, you're gonna be the first motherfucker he gonna kill. And he looked at me like, this guy's crazy, man. And then we just left because there was a lot of bullshit going on. We were supposed to meet him the first time and he never showed up. So we were dealing with his top teachers and we were basically confounding them, and they filmed everything. So we said we wanted to set up a second meeting. It was me and Ariala. We wanted to set up a second meeting, and could we bring a camera? And they said, yeah. So the day, I believe it was a Sunday, when me, Ariala, Lahab, I believe Barack, Jonathan, Lahab, Shaw went out there, we called to confirm that we come and we'll be there at such and such a time. And we said, we're gonna bring a camera and a tape recorder, a recorder. And then, oh no, you can't, I'm sorry, you can't bring a video recorder. What about a voice recorder? You can't bring that either. They started putting in these stipulations, what you can't do. So I said, what the hell is these motherfuckers afraid of, man? They got a camera on us. So we went out there anyway. We said, the hell with it. So the mic was given to Lahab, and Lahab said a few things. Lahab was a little nervous because he didn't know, which, not nervous like he's gonna get his ass whipped, but nervous because he didn't know this guy. And I said, give me the mic. When the mic was given to me, I had a stack of books, and I was looking at this guy pulling out the books, and he nodded his head, and the mic just turned off. So I said, this dude don't want me to speak. So I started yelling at him, man. And I said, this is all bullshit, get out of here. And then I remember there was Ephraimite that looked like Woody Woodpecker that was at the main school. He heard us on the street, and he was coming to the school, coming to the classes. Then all of a sudden he stopped coming. So I was like, we would talk. What was that Ephraimite dude? He was with the Dr. York people, man. And I looked and I said, oh, that's that motherfucker. And he put his head down, man. He's probably dead now, but I remember all that. And after that whole thing, I'll come back to this. After that whole thing, I remember there was an individual after we had made our, went over there, everything was said and done. There was a top teacher from the Ansar, at that time was the Ansar Allah community Muslims, that just came to the school. He found out where the school was on 125th, and he came and he said, I'm from the, he was straightforward, straight, no chaser. He said, look, I'm from the Ansar community Muslims, came up under Dr. York. Some of you brothers went to the school, and I can see that he didn't want to deal with y'all. So I did some research on my own, and I said, I'm going to start coming to y'all. And Dr. York got so mad, and I gotta find the book. If somebody could, I got the book somewhere. I gotta find it. Anyway, he wrote a whole book on the guy. And he said, he gave out all his information. This guy was in the military between this year and that year. His mama name is this, he's named that. The nigga got arrested 3 times. And then he just cursed the dude out because he was mad, Anyway, let me get back into this. That was just one of my stories. You know me, I go off sometimes. It says, but coming back to Dr. York, I'm using him as an example. What got a lot of those people, that the hook was all those books. They were all over the city with the card tables. They would sell the incense, the oils, and we even started getting into incense and the oils, and he cursed us out on that. He said, you guys are not prophets, you're profiteers. Anyway, every time I passed by one of them tables, man, I would get into it with them guys, and we would go back and forth, right? There was one situation where me and High Priest Ariala, he's in the spiritual realm now. We was going to go see the movie Platoon. I think it was me, him, and somebody else, Maya Ka'ala, which was a Benjamite high priest at the school that he used to teach on, Wednesday nights, I believe. I think it was Wednesday nights or Thursday nights. He used to teach his class. So we was gonna meet him if my memory serves me right. But anyway, no. We met him. We wasn't planning on meeting. We ran into him. And this was on Times Square. It was on 42nd and Broadway. You had 2 Ansar Allah community Muslims. And we just started going back and forth with them, and it became a camp. And we missed the movie. The movie was supposed to be at 2:00 p.m. or whatever. And by the time we got finished, it was like 4:30. Now, when we were getting it in with them guys, going back and forth into the scriptures, a whole crowd came. It became a camp. It became an actual camp, And we used to do that all the time until one guy said, you guys are deep. He said, but if you could deal with my teacher. I said, who's your teacher? Dr. York. But he had another name. I forget the name at that time. But it was an Ansar Allah community Muslims on Myrtle Ave in Brooklyn. So he said, where's the school at? He says, right here, Myrtle Ave. You get on this train, go this way, that way. And we set up a meeting. We went there, man, But coming back to Dr. York, the reason why Dr. York has so many followings, because he gave you all this beyond the moon. He said he's from the planet Risk. There ain't no such. If there was a planet Risk, don't you think the white man Esau would know? Don't you think he would say, oh, you got Pluto and you got Mars and then you got the planet Risk? He just made that shit up. Or he knows something that we don't know. All right. But he would come with that high science, that mystical, magical science and it would captivate people. That's why Jake is all fucked up in his comedic thing. All that shit, these comedic guys, they sound good. Oh, they use them $10 words, and they'll never go back. Them niggas will never go back to Africa. They'll stay right here. They say, we ain't going back to no Africa. And you need to go to Africa to wake them Jakes up there or Ham over there in Africa. Because the two biggest religions out there is number one, Islam, and number two is Christianity. And Islam and Christianity represent about 95% or more of the predominant religion over there in Africa. So you need to hop on a damn plane and take your black ass over there and start teaching them. Even Professor Smalls, he was on Sonetta when Sonetta used to be out on the street by the 125th Street Mart, for those of you that know about Harlem. And he said the people, the blacks over here in America are more conscious than the blacks over there in Africa. And why did he say that? Because he had businesses out there. Professor Smalls used to go out back and forth to Africa all the time. He would go out there for months, come back. So he said, these people in Africa are fucking gone, man. They worship in an Arab god or they worship in a white god. So you guys should pack up and go out there. They need you, man. But you like what's going on here and the money's good, you know? Anyway, that's why Jake flocks to these groups, because of the high science, the high mystical, magical science. Somebody should do a video on that, the high mystical, magical science. It says, so this is what Ezra was trying to do. He was trying to get super deep, all right? It speaks about honey, right? Let me go to that. Let me go to that, because it's in my mind. But is it in your mind, inside joke? Let me go to honey. Let me go to a little tidbit about honey. Do you know honey never goes bad? They found honey in the tombs of Egypt going back more than 3,000 years ago, and the honey's still good. Honey doesn't go bad. It goes good. Anyway, bear me for a minute. Okay. Proverbs 24, verse 13. My son, eat thou honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to thy taste. Now that's literal and spiritual. The honey that we're supposed to eat is his word, right? Proverbs 25, verse 16. Hast thou found honey? Honey, talking about this truth, what is sweet as honey, right? It shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Ezekiel 3, Revelation 10. Now in Revelation 10, it says, sweet in thy mouth as honey, and when in thy belly it shall become bitter. Because when you first hear this, you get excited. You can't wait to go to the camp. But then you got a timetable in your head as to when the Most High is when he's going to come. And guess what? If he don't come, you get disenchanted and you leave and you talk shit about the guys that's still in this. The year 2000 thing was the only thing it was a stumbling block. And the Most High puts the stumbling block before you. So that was a stumbling block. A lot of guys fell off after the year 2000. Why? Because the missiles didn't come, the destruction didn't come. Well, that was a stumbling block. See how the Most High works? And that's a screw. Well, as a matter of fact, I was watching a video of this one brother that says he goes back to the One West days back in the 90s, And he even mentioned my name. He said, yeah, you mentioned Johanna's name, you mentioned my name. I believe you mentioned Ariah. So he was actually there. And what's the brother's name? Karate Zabah, correct me if I'm wrong, of the GMS Baltimore camp. And like I said, I was watching the video 2 days ago. And they said, well, why'd you leave? And then he said, because of the year 2000 thing. See, I was getting all hyped up for the year 2000 thing, and it never came. So I just fell out. Well, that was, guess what that was? A stumbling block. It says, hast thou found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therein and vomited. Meaning, if you eat too much honey, you're going to vomit it up. If you eat too much of anything, you're going to vomit it up. So this honey is talking about the truth. If you move too fast with this truth, if you try to be deeper, and a lot of them guys that fall off, they come up under us for 2-3 years, then all of a sudden they can teach the apostles now and the bishops and the elders. You know, Nazariah, he's back in the news, but he ain't on YouTube. I believe he's on Facebook or whatever the other platforms. And now he's teaching that there's no such thing as the Messiah, and we don't have to deal with the New Testament. So all they got is the Old Testament, and the Old Testament Hebrew is lost. He's lost. That's all of them. All of them. Anyway, it says, has thou found honey, which is this truth? Eat so much as is sufficient for thee, lest thou be filled therewith and vomited. This is another good one, 25 verse 27, Proverbs. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search their own glory is not glory. And a lot of faces, there's one face that popped up in my head. A bunch of faces popped up into my head. A lot of these guys do this thing because they glory in it. You know, they get a following. Let me see. There's another one. I don't know if the word honey's in that. Let me try this way. Let me try this. Let's see what happens. Nope, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. Okay, boom. Proverbs 28, 23, verse 8. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up and lose thy sweet words. So you that come into this and you taste the honey, which is the sweet words, that's what honey means. And Proverbs is really talking about this truth. There's guys that's going to eat it and they're going to lose it. It said they're going to vomit it back up. And what? And lose thy sweet words. That's why this guy says, oh, we don't deal with the New Testament. We don't deal with the Messiah. Babylon the Great is the Vatican City. All this other nonsense, man. And what does it say in what is that? 2 Peter 2. Read that whole chapter. You got to read that whole chapter. Another breakdown. You don't know what to go. I don't know. I don't have a topic to go into. Well, you can go into 2 Peter 2 verse 1 on down. It says a whole lot. Okay, 20th verse. For if after they escape the pollution of the world through the knowledge of the Lord Yahweh Shai, the Savior, Hamashiach, they are again entangled therein, entangled into the world, and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For it had been better for them not to know, to have known the way of righteousness, than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. So whatever you was in the world, whatever negative you was in the world, you leave this truth, you're gonna go right back to that negative. If you was a stick-up kid, you're gonna go right back to being a stick-up kid. If you was a serial adulterer, you're gonna go right back to being a serial adulterer. Okay, so let me come back over here. Third verse. Then said I, yeah, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show thee three ways, and to set forth three similitudes before thee. Wherefore, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desirest to see. In other words, I'm going to ask you one question. If you can get one of these questions right, then I'll open you up to a higher form of knowledge. It says, and I shall show thee from hence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, tell me, my Lord. Then said he, the angel, unto me, go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. Now, Esau can measure the weight of a fire. Esau can measure the blast of the wind. You know, he puts numbers on it. But Esau can't call me again the day that is past. In other words, let me go back and I fucked up. You know, my wife died because she swallowed a fish bone. So what I'll do is I'll go back in time and I'll tell her not to eat the fish. So I said, baby, just eat fish. We ain't gonna have just eat chicken, not fish. Now she may choke on the chicken bone, that's a different story. But if you can turn back there, think about that damn song by Cher, if I can turn back time. If you can turn back time, you can change things, man. Now Esau can't do that. Esau can't turn back time. You know? So the angel asked him hard questions. Then he said, then answered I and said, what man is able to do that? Esau could do it. Esau can do two of those things. He can measure the blast of wind, and he can measure the weight of a flame or a fire. And it also says the voice. Can you see the voice? I'm not going to go into that. Somebody can put in the comment section. And I'm positive it's right here in this. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this here. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. Nope. If I had the phraseology, I can find it. And I'm not going to read the whole. Chapter to try to find it. So the bottom line was he was trying to get too deep, pursuant to the second verse, trying to get too deep. So the angel said, okay, you want to play that game? You want to see if you can get that deep? Answer this. What does this mean? Can you do this? Can you bring back a day? Can you take Thursday and say, no, I want to bring it back to Tuesday? Can you do that? No, you can't. Can you weigh a fire? No, you can't. Esau could do it. That's why it says thou art wiser than Daniel. Anyway, I'm gonna close. Let me go back here. So now you understand it. All right. So he answered, and I was going to start up a couple of verses, but I don't have to. Let me go to 36 first. I'm sorry. It says, and unto these things, uh, award Allah, the archangel, that proves that he's an archangel, gave them answers and answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he have weighed the world in the balance. By measure hath he measured the times, and by number hath he numbered the times. Now the Most High deals with times, right? He deals with numbers, right? There's going to be a time where Esau is going to go down, and nobody knows it but the Father. And he doeth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled, meaning the prophecies. Everybody's getting all messed up about this Ukraine, Russia, United States thing. And you got camps saying, okay, this could be it. We could be out of here. The angels ain't coming. There ain't going to be no major war until a major prophecy happens. That's the MOTB. It says, 38 verse. Then answered I and said, O Lord, that beareth rule, even we all are full of impiety. Impiety meaning, humble, righteous. Impiety meaning we're not righteous. And for our sakes, peradventure, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. It says, so he answered me and said, go thy way to a woman with child. Basically, as you read on, can she hold a child more than 9 months? And the answer is no. 40th verse, that's all it means. You can't make it any deeper than what it is. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.